everyone, Lev here. I know it's been a bit of a hiatus, or a very long hiatus, but I saw the response to the releasing trauma video. I was very moved. I'm really glad that a lot of people have been helped by that. And so I wanted to do a trauma part 2 video, releasing trauma part 2 that is. And these are a couple of great techniques. One is called a getting satisfaction letter. The second is called the Wim Hof Breathing Method. Now, just to give you a little bit of recap, I had a really tough childhood like a lot of you out there have. There's basically 2 different types of traumas. There is repeated low-level trauma that happens over and over and over again over a long period of time that can cause what's called complex PTSD. It's basically the same as PTSD, it's just the cause is different. It's caused by, again, repeated low-level trauma. The other types of trauma are major traumas, like a beating or a molestation or a rape or a death. Those are obviously severe traumas as well. Also, abandonment, being cheated on, again, can be a very high level of trauma. And as discussed before, trauma can get trapped. And the problem is even if it's in your subconscious, it's running your life. It's causing negative emotion. It's causing reactivity, triggering. It's causing sleepless nights. It's causing generalized anxiety or social anxiety or both. So I want to help people get over that. As far as my trauma, again, just to recap, my dad was very severely emotionally abusive, a little bit physically abusive, but that wasn't the issue. The issue was the emotional abuse. So this big burly Israeli man, and just to give you a little taste of what I would go through as a kid, I would spill something, he would explode, and he would say in his wonderful accent, "You're always spilling things! You don't care about anything! You respect nothing!" So things like that wasn't pleasant, You're worthless, you're dishonest, you're lazy. Over and over again, day after day. My dad had basically borderline personality disorder. And look, I've worked on forgiving him. He was emotionally damaged himself. My grandfather was a raging alcoholic, and basically that rage seeped into my dad. And even though he didn't drink, he acted like a raging alcoholic, like a raging drunk. Like I said, had borderline personality disorder. Anything could set him off, or nothing could set him off. So because of that, I had complex PTSD and severe generalized anxiety and social anxiety, because he would also berate me in front of others, family functions, things of that nature. So for those of you who have been traumatized out there, believe me, I feel your pain. But the key is, what's happened has happened. You can't stay in a victim mindset. You got to do whatever you can to get that trauma out of your body. So I'm going to give you 2 more methods to do that. The first is what's called a getting satisfaction letter. Now, I'd like to give credit to Olivia Cabane. She wrote a book called The Charisma Myth. Check out that book. It's a great book. But in that book, she has a great trauma and resentment release process. And what that is it's through writing what's called a getting satisfaction letter. So our subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between imagination and reality. So we can use that to our advantage. And writing is a psychoneural activity. It directly communicates with your subconscious. So here's how you do a getting satisfaction letter. First, you write what the person who hurt you did to you. And be as frank and raw and emotional as possible. "You bastard, you did these horrible things to me. You did this over and over again. I've had so much pain and trauma because of what you did to me." Cuss them out if you want to cuss them out. "Fuck you. To hell with you for what you did to me." Things of that nature. Don't hold back at all. So you write that part. Then you write what you wish the person would have done instead, how they would have treated you instead. And again, on top of that, write how affected you were by what they did. At the very end, write another letter from them to you apologizing. Because some people, a lot of people who traumatize others, they're in a low place. They're trapped in their own hell. They're not going to apologize. So the problem is it's very difficult to forgive somebody and let go of that emotional pain when they've never ever asked for forgiveness and when they've never apologized in any way. But again, our subconscious cannot tell the difference between imagination and reality. So give yourself that apology you've always wanted. Write it in detail and imagine that you're being given that apology. Now, sometimes the abuse or the trauma is so deep that writing the letter one time will not work. But you know what? There's no limits on how many times you can write the letter. I can tell you with my dad, I had to write the letter, I believe, 5 times. But by that 5th time, it was crazy. I felt like this huge weight lifted off my shoulders. So I highly, highly recommend writing a getting satisfaction letter. Number 2, the Wim Hof method. Now, the Wim Hof method should be combined with cold exposure. The easiest way is to take a cold shower. Another way is to buy, say, 4 or 5 bags of ice, dump them in your bathtub, fill up with water. You only need 2 minutes of cold exposure for this to be effective. And this is how you do the Wim Hof breathing method. Before you go into the cold, first what you have to do is oxygenate your body. The way you do that is breathe quickly, almost hyperventilating, but quick breaths. I'd say 30 to 60 breaths. I'll show you a few how you do them. Until you feel a little bit dizzy, that's when you stop. And so just very quickly, in and out. Again, about 30 to 70 breath cycles until you have enough breaths. And as you can see, we're filming outside in reality. Anyways, the second part of the breathing method, what you have to do is you breathe in deeply all the way, then you breathe out all the way to the bottom of your breath. Hold as long as you can until you're gasping for air. Typically, it'll be anywhere from 20 to 40 seconds that you can hold your breath. So I'll show you, and now we have a fire engine in the background. Wonderful, but we're gonna keep going. So what you do is, you take a deep breath, hold it, and then like I said, breathe all the way out to the bottom of your breath, hold as long as you can. So I'll show you how it's done. Breathe in, breathe out all the way, and then hold. Now, I can hold longer, but I don't want to just show a video of me holding my breath. But again, you breathe out all the way, hold as long as you can. When you feel like you're gasping for air, that's when you breathe in. Then take a couple of deep breaths, then breathe all the way out, repeat the cycle. Do that combined with cold exposure. It basically exponentially raises the benefits of cold exposure. And what it does is, through releasing norepinephrine and other stress chemicals, it basically releases the stress from your body. So that's 2 more methods for releasing trauma. I apologize for the background noise. We are, again, in real life, and I hope these really help you. Please share my video. Please like, comment below on if these methods have helped you. And like I said before, in the comment section, you don't have to use one technique. Stack techniques. Attack the problem from every angle. I'm pulling for everybody out there. Love you all. Until we speak again.